Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back. Welcome to. I appreciate the support. Either ways, cuzzies. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today is September 4th, 2025. In today's video, shout out to you guys and the community that we're building here. We are going to make a video on explaining the stochastic RSI and how I would confluence that with the RSI and the MACD during my swing trades. Also, we're going to look at the 12-hour, the 1 day, especially the weekly and the 2 weeks. So, first things first, this is not financial advice. This is a window to my thought process. I've been doing this for like 17, 18 years, investing in crypto, charting crypto, watching crypto for like 11, 12 years now. Was originally taught by my father, who was an options trader for like 20, 30 years at Stratton Oakmont. If anyone doesn't know what that is, that's the Wolf of Wall Street place. No, he did nothing illegal. Yes, I was trained by a majority of those people. But the thing I'm trying to teach you guys is it's the same lingo over and over, right? It doesn't matter if you're looking at the weekly and the 2 week, or the 12-hour and the 1 day, or if you're looking at the 3 and the 4 day, or if you're looking at the 12-hour and the 4-hour. All you're looking at are the waves and where the indicators are. Are they making higher highs and have room to grow, lower lows, room to bleed? That's it. If the chart is too close to being overbought, I wait. If the chart is being too close to being oversold, I wait. You need to wait for market structure. You need to wait for confirmations. That's one of the key things that you need to learn from this channel and learn from me, right? Is waiting for the first time that you break out of a downward falling wedge, and the first time you make a higher low. What I mean by that is like this continued all the way to here. You need to have the patience in order for this to play out and then this to play out. You need to have the patience in order for your trends to have confirmations, and we'll go over that, right? So I always start with longer time. These are the time frames that I use, right? I know you want to go over the 12-hour and the 1 day and the 2 week and the 1 week, but you kind of have to look at kind of all of these. I wouldn't say the 4. I would say the 3, 2, 1 are kind of like useless for what I'm doing. Excuse me. All right, so you could get rid of 1, 2, 3. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 22 daily. Those are like the shorter time frames, and I'll explain. Daily 2, 3, 4, 5. Weekly, that's like your midterm. Long term is weekly, 2 week, 3 week, monthly. 2 month, 3 month, it's just too much, too long, right? These are the time frames that you should be going in and out of to see what's going on within the market structure and the candle formation. What I mean by that is on a monthly time frame, you get 4 weekly candles, right? On a weekly candle, you get 7 of these candles. Out of 1 daily candle, you get 2 of these. 1 12-hour candle, you get 2 of these. So you could kind of see how the candle is playing out on the time frame that you're looking at. So if we're waiting for confirmation for the MACD to go up on the daily time frame, you're waiting to see if the daily RSI is going to break above the 50, if the daily stochastic RSI is going to continue up past the 50 line. You go to the 12-hour. You see if it's continuing to form bullish sentiment. Are we staying above the 80 line? Is the RSI staying above the moving average and making higher lows, higher highs, and breaking into section A? Is the MACD not death crossing and continue to make higher lows and higher highs, right? Something like this. Okay, you can see these lower lows, lower lows, lower lows officially. Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs officially. Lower lows, lower lows, lower lows officially. Now we're here, okay? We could see if the 12-hour doesn't death cross, if the 12-hour doesn't break the moving average, if the 12-hour doesn't break the 70 or 80 line. If those don't break and it's a continuation, your daily will print a green candle, right? Same thing for the weekly, the 2-week, the 3-week, the monthly. If we're trying to say that the monthly is going to be a good month, that means we should get more green candles out of the next 3-4 weeks for the weeklies. If you're thinking you're going to have good, strong weekly momentum, then that means we should have how many green candles, right, on this time frame, right? How many more greens than reds do you see? In a downward momentum, how many more reds than greens do you see? Okay. What we're looking for is the midterm time frames to turn bullish and show you confirmations. The 2-day is the earliest of the mid to shorter time frames that are used to show me that the overall swing is changing. What I mean by that, if you're looking at the weekly, you're too late to the play. Okay? Death cross happened and the play was literally like months in. You could have taken profit here. The death cross happened. Like this was all the way at 108 and the death cross happened at 97, right? We went all the way up to 73, but the death cross happened at 64. You're too late to the party. On the daily and the 12-hour, sometimes you have death crosses or golden here in this situation. You have a golden cross, but then a death cross right away, showing you that it was a fake out. Another golden cross, another death cross, it was a fake out. You had a death cross, but it formed a higher low, and we continued going up in this pattern here. You don't see those fake outs on longer time frames, right? The longer you go, the less fake outs you see, okay? So you need to find that sweet spot for the 12-hour and the daily to see the market structure, see what's going on. Then you wait for the confirms on the daily, the 2-day, and the 3-day, and then you use the weekly, the 2-week, and potentially the monthly to give you hindsight of what potentially could be happening on your daily, and then you zoom into the 12-hour. So let's go over some confirmations, right? Section A's, Cuzzy. The first thing you want to see, regardless of the ticker, where is the MACD? Is it in a golden cross or death cross market structure? Where is the RSI? Is it above the 50, below the 50? Is it above the moving average or is it below the moving average? The stochastic. Are we in a golden cross structure going up? Are we in a death cross structure coming down? Are we in a golden cross structure below the 50, golden cross structure below the 70, so on and so forth, right? Because this is a golden cross here, but this is a golden cross here. This one does not have as much momentum as above the 50 line, okay? So let's go over indicators, what you're looking for, etc., etc. MACD above the 0 line. The 0 line is when the histogram goes positive or negative. You always want to have death crosses and golden crosses above the 0 line, showing you that you are in a bull run / continuation patterns to the upside. Okay, every single time. Yeah, I'll even show you here, right? So you've had death cross, golden cross, death cross, golden cross. Bitcoin went from 26,000 to 100,000. Doesn't matter if you had, as long as the MACD was above the 0 line, you are forming higher lows to the previous lows, okay? If your MACD is forming golden crosses and death crosses below the 0 line, example A, your golden crosses will have low momentum. You will have very hard times breaking the most recent swing that happened previously. And when you do have the bearish switch over, right, because everything happens in waves. Everything has golden crosses, death crosses, oversold, overbought. You just need to look at the chart. Every single chart. When you have a death cross below the 0 line, you are officially in a bear market. Your lows that just have formed have a very high probability of getting wiped out, and your swing has a very high probability of continuing to the downside and forming yet another lower low. And what you're doing is you're looking at the weekly, 2-week, 3-week, and monthly for supply and demand zones to see where there was previous buying and selling pressure previously. That's how I use the monthly. Like you could see here clearly selling pressure. You could clearly see here buying pressure, buying pressure. So if I start seeing selling pressure, divergence, then I start zooming into the weekly. I see if there's going to be how many more weeks of bullish or bearish, depending on how many more weeks we have of bullish or bearish, I now know I have this many swings during that time period, okay? MACD is a momentum indicator. It literally just shows you if momentum is going up or if momentum is going down. If you could just not look at the price and open up longs when you have golden crosses above the zero, take profit when you have death crosses above the zero, open up shorts when you have death crosses below the zero, especially on mid to longer time frames, no brainers, cuzzy. Death cross below, RSI below the 50, Bitcoin went from 95,000 to 79,000. Golden cross above RSI is above the 50, Bitcoin went from 84,000 to 113,000. Okay, and I'm using the next swing, not where it's now, the next swing change momentum thereafter. So once again, what am I looking for my swings? A minimum of the daily and the 2-day time frame to show me bullish sentiment. Bullish sentiment, once again, golden cross structure, especially above the zero line. RSI. RSI is an indicator that tells you if the asset is extremely overbought when it's close to the 70 or extremely oversold when it's close to the 20 or 30 line. There's 4 sections. Overbought is the 70, but if your asset and your lines are above, you're extremely overbought and you are in like major bull run. Everyone's telling you to buy. People who have told you that they don't believe it are now putting their money in for the first time, and you are seeing the most amount of profits possible. Section B, right? So this is A plus. A is 50 to 70. So once again, the most beautiful thing you could see during bull runs is consolidation, support at the 50, room to grow back to the 70. The market structure change that you're looking for is when the RSI breaks above the moving average, starts making higher lows in its market structure, and the confirmation is above the 50. If your MACD is in a golden cross structure, this is your confirmation. Literally put an alert at 51 and 48. Every time it breaks above, look to long, break below, look to short. Once again, I don't even have to look. I know from here to here, Bitcoin went up. It's that simple, right? From here, Bitcoin went from 85,000 to extremely overbought. What am I looking for? The confirmation when the blue line broke the 70, broke the yellow, and officially broke below for the first time here, May 25th. Bitcoin that's when you should have taken profit, 75, 85%, not financial advice. Another thing that we're looking for is, different sections. So this is section B, okay, when the asset is below the 50 and using the 30 as support, right? So B, and then below the 30, is B minus. That's when you should be selling kidneys to put money into assets because it's so oversold. You have the most amount of room to make profit, the most amount of reward to risk, and that's when the masses are telling you not to buy. So once again, section B, if the RSI is using the 50 as resistance and you're staying down there, you are going to be in a bearish momentum. You're not going to be making higher highs. You're going to be making lower lows until, ding, 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 you have a golden cross structure. Your RSI is above the 50. Your stochastic RSI, which is also momentum, RSI, it's just a faster moving RSI. That's it. You just open longs when those 3 confirmations happen on the 2-day. And then you would back that up to see how long the 2-day play is going to happen or the daily trade is going to happen based off if the weekly is in an upward or a downward momentum, right? So right now the weekly is pointing down. That means because it's above the zero line, but we have a death cross, we could have a dead cat bounce, but I don't think we break the 119 to the 123 yet. We need to see the weekly in an upward momentum to show us that the daily and the 2-day have officially started its swing as well. And you can see here the 2-day MACD has not golden crossed yet. It is still pointing down and still going down. I said in my most recent video, I would like to see Bitcoin form its inverse head and shoulders here, right? So we had the breakup, we're having the retest. In order for this to be a continuation to the upside, and join the Discord, links in the description, your most recent low is here. The one previous to that was this one. In order for this to be somewhat of a bottom forming, you want to see the next breakout be the same low as the most recent one here. Not necessarily this one here, because if we do that, then this is an inverse head and shoulders that eventually will break to the upside. Let's just say this takes a couple days to play out, and then we break back to the 112, back to the 113, and potentially see some resistance here at the 116. But then that's the start of the uptrend, right? So this way, and then we could potentially go back up. And that's what I mean by the 2-day, right? You don't want to wait for the 2-day to golden cross because you're too late to the party. I'd be looking at the daily. I want to make sure what? It's the same lingo, golden cross, but above the 0 line. We could golden cross, but that means we're not breaking 123 because we're what? Below the 0 line, okay? Let me give you an example. You don't have to believe me. You could look at this chart or any chart and say if we had a golden cross and we were below the 0 line, we went up, but look at this swing high, okay? We went from right here, golden cross, okay? So we went from 80 something thousand right here, 70 to 80,000. We went up to 87,000, but did we break these highs here? Did we break 91 to 94,000? No. We went up, we formed a lower high and came back down to form another low down to the 77,000. So the most important thing, once again, on a daily, I'm looking for a MACD golden cross. Great, market structure going up. We want to make sure the RSI has broken above the moving average and broken the 50. Hasn't happened yet. The first one is going to be the stochastic RSI. Step 1, we're at 54 and 43. So you could set an alert here at the 52, 55. I'm curious to see if we're going to do this. If we continue going up, the RSI will continue going up and the MACD will continue going up. And which means we will continue going up. Once again, I said in the last video, I think we have to break this level here first. Right, this level here, which 112 to potentially 113, where we're at right now, we're seeing resistance. But as long as we form a higher low that shows that this is not a fake out, that this is a breakout and the start of something forming a bottom. Okay, it's just that simple, like forming a bottom right here. You're forming a bottom, you're forming this top, and eventually you break out to the upside. You just need the breakout, the confirm, the higher low, and then we start doing something like that. This is why if it hasn't played out on the daily, right, you go to the 12-hour. I want to see, are we seeing wicks? Are we seeing a continuation? Does this death cross or does this continue to open up? Does this stay above the 70? Right, like this one here, stayed above the 70, stayed above the 70. What do? We continue to rise up. We went from 112 to 124. I'm expecting something from 107 to maybe 116 to 119. It's just that simple, right? Until you see what I just told you played out on the daily, 2-day, and 12-hour, meaning golden cross above the 0, RSI pointing up, making higher lows, higher highs, back above the moving average, stochastic RSI, not only above the 20, but above the 50 on the weekly. When those things play out, well, Bitcoin went from 66 to 106,000. Same thing here. Broke, boom. You need to have the patience to have the death cross, everything play out, Bitcoin go from 76, right? Bitcoin went from 75 all the way to 92,000 until I saw this alert go off, this alert go off, and this alert go off. Then we open up our long at 94,000 and we are taking profit. Bink, right here, the first time the stochastic RSI death crosses. So 94 all the way up to 110. We're waiting for, did we death cross? Nope. Did we break the moving average? Nope. Did the stochastic RSI form another golden cross? Yes. The next long would have been from 108 to 120. When are we taking profit? When the stochastic RSI death crosses. When are we taking a lot of profit and potentially closing the position? When the RSI breaks below the moving average. And then we have a death cross. As of right now, I've been saying it for a long time, I'm stacking more cash. because I'm looking at the bigger picture, right? You also have to not only look at death cross, golden cross, is the RSI above, below, are we forming higher lows, same highs, double tops, is the stochastic above, below, above, forming higher high. You have to look at divergences within everything that I just said. Are the waves making lower highs, higher highs? Yes, we're having continuations to the upside. When does the continuation end? Okay, we're having continuations to the downside. Same thing. Okay, we're having continuations to the downside. When does that end? When you're looking for continuations to stop on the weekly time frame, you need to look longer to see what the ultimate trend is on that. Once again, when you're messing with a monthly time frame, now you're talking about predicting bull and bear markets. I technically go with the 2-week, 3-week, and monthly because once again, if you use a monthly time frame, you're too late to the party. The confirmations that I just told you of the 50 breaking on the RSI, stochastic RSI, the RSI breaking above and breaking the 50, having a golden cross, you're missing out on a ton of opportunity, okay? But when these things happen, you're officially in a bull market or a bear market. So that's why I'm saying, well, we're still golden cross. We're still in section A. Yes, we had a death cross, but it's, we're still above the 60 and 51. So we're still in section A, section A, section A. Are they making lower highs? Are they making lower highs? Is volume coming down? Yes. So you have to understand that continuations end when you start seeing divergences, bearish divergences, right? So bullish continuations end when you're getting bearish divergences. Bearish trends end when you get bullish divergences. And you're looking for bullish divergences on the shorter time frames, right? The weekly, I'm looking at the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once again, 2-day is the daily and the 2-day is my main ones, right? If confirmations play out, it's perfect. The plays are perfect, right? Let's just play it out, right? I could go back to when probably no one even knew about Bitcoin, okay? Let's go to 2000. Let's go here, okay? Let's go all the way over here to 2014. Same lingo, same process, okay? Think of it like a computer program and you're a bot. You don't do anything until something happens. You don't listen to the news. You don't chase green candles. You look at long-term trends to help you predict what's going to happen on shorter time frames. In 2014, what do you know? Bitcoin was in a bearish continuation because we were in a death cross structure. We broke the zero line. RSI was below the RSI and the 50, and it didn't matter when the stochastic went up and down. The waves went lower and lower and lower and lower until, ding, 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 longer time frames showed you exactly the things that I was telling you about. Golden crosses, RSI above and above the 50, stochastic above the 50. Bitcoin went from $241 to the first take profit, right? Here's the first one. Went from actually 207, your first take profit was 290. Second take profit was 430. Third take profit, 753. Keep going. Fourth take profit, 1063. I'm looking at the stochastic, right? As long as the MACD is going up and the RSI is above the 50, we're in continuations. The stochastic is just showing you the swings within the continuations, okay? Take profit, take profit, take profit here, 2861. Take profit here, 4496. Take major profit here at 19,000. That was the first time, okay, we had, guess what, a death cross above the zero line. So what does that mean? If you bought at 212, the next low potentially could not even come close to it, and it didn't, right? What we're looking for was a death cross. RSI broke the moving average, broke the 70. I was out of the play in a lot of cash. Stochastic below the 20, showing you that you have very minimal momentum on your side. RSI below the moving average, below the 50 right here. Officially, I opened up my short and Bitcoin went from 6,000 to 3,000. You need to sit on your hands until you had a golden cross, RSI above the 50, stochastic above the 50. But once again, it's too late on a 2-week, so you got to look for that on the weekly. Right? Then you understand what's happening with golden crosses. Then we go to our 2-day and you see the same thing play out. I can go to ADA. Let's go to ADA. Let's go to all the way over here. It doesn't matter. Is the MACD in a golden cross, a death cross? Is it above or below? Is the RSI above, below, and where's the stochastic to show you momentum? The MACD went below the zero line here. You're officially bearish here at 36 cents. You could come up, but once again, lower highs, lower lows. Until when MACD golden cross was above the zero line, RSI broke, was above the 50, stochastic was above the 50. ADA went from 26 cents all the way here, 40 cents, you're taking profit, still in a golden cross structure. Above the 70, so basically you're even more overbought, but once again capitulation mode, taking profit here again at the second golden cross, death cross, excuse me, at 62 cents, and your play would have been 154% in 66 days. So once again, you could do any time frame. I just like to know that when this plays out on a daily and a 2-day, you have tons of room to grow, least amount of fake outs. And I mean, once again, dude, look at a 2-day and a 1-day and look at the confirmations I just told you. You want a golden cross, but a golden cross. See, this is a golden cross, but this is a golden cross above the zero. Two different things. Look what happened when you had a golden cross below, right? Your last swing high was $1 to $1.14. We went from 49 cents to 85 cents for this swing. Swing meaning the MACD went from golden cross to death cross structure. So the swing went from 54 cents to 80 cents, but we formed a lower high. Why did we form a lower high during that swing? Because your MACD was below the zero line. What are we looking for? MACD golden cross and above, RSI and above, stochastic and above. This is your golden confirmation here. 62 cents to 91 cents. You're taking profit here. When the stochastic breaks, we're still above the zero, still above the 50. This is a continuation and a higher low to the most recent low. And then your second take profit is here again at the 94 to $1 when your stochastic breaks down again. But once again, you're looking at divergence, and you need to see what's happening on weekly time frames if you're going to have death crosses, continuations, and stuff like that. That's the video. I love you guys. I appreciate the support. I hope you learned something from this. Once again, the most important thing is that 2-day time frame. I love it. For my swings, it's perfect. It's the least amount of fake outs. It's one chart. And then you just wait for confirmations. Unfortunately, if you're looking to long something and the MACD is in section B and not great, you gotta trust the charts over people. I don't care if the network is upgrading and the layer 1 is not, I don't care. 50 line above the zero line, stochastic above the 50, showing you that you have a ton of momentum on your side and you'll make a lot of money. And if you see market structure breaking down in a break of the 50 down to the 30 and the stochastic going from the 50 down to the 20, then you open up a short. And then once again, you're taking profit when you have golden crosses. Everything I told you is the opposite for a short. So all you're looking to do now is become robotic, set alerts, right? So you could set an alert on the MACD golden crossing and death crossing. You could set an alert when the RSI breaks the 50, breaks the 70, breaks the 30. Then you could set an alert on the stochastic every time it golden crosses and death crosses. So every time your phone goes off or an email goes off or whatever it is, you could then go to the chart and say, okay, one thing went off. Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? Where are the waves going? Bullish, bearish. Where's support? Where's resistance? Where's liquidity zones on the longer time frame like the weekly? That's it. Love you guys. Comments, questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section. If you appreciate this content, I would appreciate just a like. So it help me and the YouTube evil algorithm. If you're looking to request a video, if you're looking to purchase my indicators, the link will be in the description. The Discord is free. Please be careful with scams. Enjoy.